What's going on, everybody? You've got the card board coach here with your boy, Coach Co. And team, today on our podcast, we have a very special guest in the house. We've got David Grzybowski, the head of marketing from the Collects app. How are you doing today, man?
Coach, great to be with you. Thanks for your time. Excited to talk cards. Let's get it.
Yeah, I'm happy to have you. So for those of you who don't know what Collects is, how about we start there, and then we'll find out about David Grzybowski, the collector, and David Grzybowski, the you were was it anchor? I got so many questions. I'm so
Steve,
excited.
yeah, we can go
I
through this.
love it. I love it.
Do it
So
live.
Collects, let's do this. So
Cool.
talk
Yeah.
to,
So
talk to us a little bit about Collects. There's you
awesome.
guys. I will say before you get into that, it's funny. I asked you like talk to me about this, and then I cut you off. So you guys
Okay.
have some of the best content, I think, not only on Instagram but on TikTok. You guys are masters of short form content. I mean, honest to God, I think some of the interviews with some of the younger kids that you have, and
Yeah.
it's just like some top tier stuff. So I first off just want to give you guys a huge shout out for that. And if anyone listening hasn't seen some of Collect's content, I would highly recommend checking it out. You guys just got another big member on the team. Is
hmm
it TA24 cards?
Tiger. Yeah. Well, I can get that too. There's a lot of updates we can talk about.
All right, let's go. Collects.
Yeah. So Collects launched about I would say 2 years ago. Ted Mann is co-founder and CEO. His background is in AI technology, and yeah, we start. I joined the team pretty much. I wouldn't say step one, but like a little bit step 1.5, two, like very early stages of Collects. When I joined the company, we weren't even launched yet. I joined November 2020, whatever 2021. Honestly, it's been a blur. It's been awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Collects is a free app for iPhone or Android. You can scan any sports card, trading card. We're expanding our categories. So soccer, football, basketball, baseball, Pokemon Magic the Gathering, Yu-Gi-Oh! We're getting the Marvel cards and other stuff soon. Scan the card, get the value, but the not only get the value, identify the card, but now we have a full-edged marketplace. So you can scan the card, add 20 Prism cards to your collection, any cards, add thousands of cards to your collection. Your collection tab will add up, and you can message other sellers on the app. You can buy and sell with other collectors. You can't trade, although that's a very popular request that people want to do. Yeah, it's been great, man. We have a lot of users. Our community is huge, which I think is the backbone of the company. And we're growing. I always say I don't say collects to the moon. I say collects to Mars because I've been really blessed to be a part of the team from the get-go, and like just seeing it grow year, month, and week, and day after day. And I might be pompous and saying, but we're consistently one of the only apps in the hobby, companies in the hobby that are being transparent with our users. And we're making updates to the app on a regular basis. Like every week, there's monstrous updates to the app. We get
Yeah.
feedback from our ambassadors. Hey, we found a glitch. This doesn't work. We don't like this. We are literally like, go on any Google Play or App Store and see all the updates we are making to the app, like weekly basis, daily basis. Like we want to better the experience for collectors. It's been great, man. It's been really cool, and the marketplace is booming, and it's been really fun.
That's super impressive. I feel like there was a lot of there was a lot of like a price. Especially early on when the boom happened. There was a lot of people joining and didn't really know how to come up with prices, and there wasn't really an efficient way to come up with prices. And I feel like there was a lot of apps that kind of stood on the ground floor. And I do truly think that you guys have kind of separated yourself at the very least from like just the amount of like you guys are everywhere when it comes to whether it's like content, like you said,
Mhm.
updating the app. I think that there's a few other apps that that might be like a secondary piece of one of their puzzles, or maybe they've got a partnership with a certain association. But I honestly think that like I see you guys grinding, so
Yeah.
huge shout out for that. And as someone who's the director of marketing, like you guys, like I said, I can't I can basically can't turn on my phone without seeing you guys. So talk to me a little bit about that. So talk to me about, your marketing strategies, like how has that evolved from like day
Sure.
one till now? Like, how did we start including, some of the younger collectors, and who are these younger collectors?
Yeah. Yeah. So, it's funny. My background is in TV broadcasting, so I know how to storytell at the heart. I worked in the Philadelphia TV market, Raleigh, North Carolina. I was the reporter holding the microphone out in the field. And, I left that business 6, 7 years ago, and I love to storytell and, give a voice to the voiceless and just like, interview the 90-year-old barber who's closing his shop because he's been, in shop for 70 years. And like, I
Yeah.
love stories like that. So I brought my expertise in that and like storytelling to like this new space of the hobby. And I think we could do a lot more, but the collects front, yeah, it's been cool to just like storytell. And now, I think for the strategy that I like to work with is just like give people a reason to download the app. Don't just be like, robotic, like you should download the Collects app. Like I want to show you why. I want our logo to be everywhere. If someone to me, yeah, it's great if people download the app, but if someone is going to a show and sees the Collects logo and they say, I know what that is, I know what that company does, to me, that's a win.
Yeah.
Because there's I use this analogy here in the office, like everyone knows of these popular cheesesteak spots in Philly. They might not be the best, but like they're a cheesesteak spot because they're everywhere and like they just hammer down marketing nonstop and they just, I call it like logo appropriation, like they're just everywhere and anywhere. So yeah, it's been fun to storytell on Collects, and it was my idea uh right from the get-go, bring in Ted's, the story was that, or story is rather, that Charlie Mann and Ted, father and son, created Collects, and we ran with that story, and it was a great story, and we kind of evolved after that. But Charlie is like the face of Collects, kid-wise, and then we had Charlie in videos, Eli Sports Card, Elijah Bloom is a reporter ambassador for us, and even
Yeah.
Ted's other son, Gus, has been in videos. So the three of them have been killing it with just content. And I'm not gonna lie, I kind of coached them up a little bit and like, yo, like Eli, do that again. Charlie, like, come on, more energy. Like, I kind of like, Charlie does acting school on the side, and Eli
Really?
wants to be a sports reporter. And like, I'm like treating this like I'm kind of like their mini producer, man.
Yeah, yeah.
I
This is like
enjoy it the
a this is
most.
like an internship, you know? This is like
Yeah, but they're getting, I mean, Eli's growing, Charlie, people, I mean, it is so cool, like, to see, like, walking around the Philly card show and someone comes up to Charlie and, like, hey, I seen you on TikTok. Like,
Yeah.
that's awesome, man. Like,
Yeah.
I love that. But it's been cool. Like, we've been striking while the iron's hot with those guys, and, like, Charlie interviewing, or Gus interviewed Jerry Rice, randomly ran him into him and at the National.
I saw the Frank
Let's
Frank
be real,
Thomas
right?
interview. Frank Thomas interview too was
Frank
fun.
Thomas. If me and
Yeah.
you went up to Frank Thomas and like, hey Frank, can we interview you? He'll be like, hey, get
Yeah, yeah,
get lost.
exactly.
But
Yeah,
like
beat it.
Eli, little Eli, glasses, and Gus and Charlie, like they just go up to them like, yeah, of course, man. Like, what do you got? And like, it's
And they
it's
they ask
cool.
like great questions though. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
they're all. I
phenomenal
mean,
questions.
yeah, I mean, I very rarely tell them what to say. I let them just like do it. Like the one was last year before, like Adrian Peterson just like picked up Eli and like it wasn't part of the video, but like I'm like that wouldn't happen with me. But it's been cool to see them like like grind it out, and like you said, like I don't, when I make content with them, it's not just like, hey, you should down collects. Like they're interviewing collectors, they're interviewing Michael Rubin, they're interviewing these athletes and stuff and other collectors, because like I don't know, I think there's a mantra at Collects is like we want to be the on ramp for collectors in the hobby, and what better on ramp to start than being a kid, man? Like
Yeah,
I mean, so many. I mean, there's 12-year-olds walking around these shows with like 10 grand worth of cards in their
at
case.
at least some of them, man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I remember at the Atlantic City National, this one kid, I forget his name, but you've probably seen in videos. I was like, "What's the most expensive deal you've done?" And he's like, "Oh, like 800 to $1,200." And meanwhile, I'm like salivating trying to sell like a $75 card,
Yeah,
like
exactly.
thinking I like got like dinner that night. Like it's kind of cool.
It is pretty wild. So it's been. I mean, I see that you're wearing a WrestleMania hat, which like you guys also did a ton of content there, which is pretty cool. And I kind of want to know a little bit more about, and that's where this question is coming from. Is that since Fanatics took over, um, obviously Michael Rubin's at the forefront of that. He's based out of Philadelphia. I find that a lot of stuff is very like Philadelphia, New York, like New Jersey. If it wasn't before, it certainly is now. Do you find it is, and do you think that's helped you and collects over the last little bit, kind of, be so uh present at a lot of these things?
Yeah, I mean, like we just want to be around the shows, man. Like
Yeah,
we want to go to Fanatics Fest. Like I think what Fanatics is doing is really cool and interesting. Like, listen, I think we even talked off camera. Like sometimes in the hobby, you can't please everyone. And listen, when there's noise, there's noise. You see,
yeah,
like people complaining about things, and rightfully so. Some stuff you gotta, there's valid reasons to complain, but yeah, I think with Fanatics doing it, not just Fanatics, just other companies in general are just stepping up their game, man. Like
yeah,
first Bowman Auto Blue thing's cool. Like the Tom Brady thing was interesting, and I don't know. I mean, like there's no really wrong way to market the hobby these days because like it wasn't marketable 5, 7 years ago. So like, or it was marketable, but it wasn't
it
at
wasn't
its peak.
marketed really.
Yeah, yeah. So
Yeah,
like, I mean, there's so many shows. Like, there's a show every freaking weekend these days. Like, you literally could plan out your whole month or the next 6 months of shows. Like, there's literally shows like there's depending on the state, there might be too many in a way, but I mean that's a good and bad thing.
yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah,
I mean,
I love what they're doing, and like we just want to be present and be around people. Like, and again, like we necessarily aren't really setting up at shows because like the ROI of that is like not really the best. Because like are you gonna us setting up at a show? Are you gonna get 50,000 downloads? No, but like brand awareness, sure. But like I would rather just walk around the show and just interview you or like interview the guy who has an $80,000 Prism collection or $80,000 1956 Topps cards and like talk to that person and highlight that person. So
yeah, I would
it's
agree with you.
high
I'm
tide rises all ships, marketing wise.
Yeah, I'm not a big. I mean, I can't. The ROI for me wouldn't be there either for like just standing behind like a table. Just
Yeah,
doesn't really do it for me. Also, I just never been the person to stand behind a table. Like I find I get like I'm antsy. I want to be moving. I want to see what's
yeah.
up. I want to be communicating. And I'm sure that that's kind of like where you guys are at as well. Talk to
Mhm.
me about David Growski, the collector. Like, where does collecting start? You said you were in TV broadcasting. Like, how did we transition?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't really. I mean, I collected cards as a kid, but I was mainly a Pokemon guy, man. Like, I mean, I'm sure everyone has said this over the last 5 years, but like, if I had my Pokemon cards
What
now,
uh what year were you born, man?
1991. I was gonna say
Bro,
2001,
there you
1991.
yeah. We're in the same little boat there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
I
I
I,
mean,
I grew up on Pokemon and yeah.
my vivid memory of collecting Pokemon as a kid went to this like hobby shop, and I ripped a Japanese pack of Pokemon, and I pulled like a holographic Charizard, and obviously I don't have it anymore. But like to me, that's a core memory that I remember. I've definitely had all the Zappos, the birds and stuff, and all. I mean, I had everything.
Yeah.
Um, and I think I was into Yu-Gi-Oh too. Definitely was more of a Pokemon kid than everyone has baseball cards and stuff, but.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm pretty much like everyone else, man. Like, maybe I saw it coming before COVID, but definitely during, the pandemic, I upped the ante and bought stuff. I mean, looking back at like my purchases during the pandemic, it's like, why was I buying a reprint Tom Brady card just to have it like on my desk? Like, what the hell was I doing? Um, or even like, LaMelo Ball NBA hoops rookie card was like I didn't pay for it. It was like 3 grand. Now it's
Yeah.
like $40. Like
Yeah.
kind of wild. But yeah, I mean, collecting wise, I'm in it to I have a like a PC in my mind and my heart, but I'm trying to like take my daughter to Disney World, man. I'm trying to flip some cards and make some cash too, like everyone else. It's been fun to do that, and I've learned a lot too. Like I think David Grzybowski, the collector 6 months ago, is different from today. I love wrestling cards. I love the 1982 Wrestling All-Star set with Hulk Hogan, Ric Flair, and Andre the Giant. I think that's a beautiful set. I love LeBron James. I think the LeBron James Topps Chrome rookie card will be his main mantra like card. Like I hate to be cliche and say it's the Fleer Jordan, but I think when LeBron retires, people are gonna have FOMO, and I think we should give LeBron his flowers now. Not only just a player, but in the hobby too.
But that happens to everybody, you know, like not everybody, but like the greats always get disrespected when they're playing. Always.
Yep.
Like even when Tiger was like at the top, like that man
Mhm.
was just disrespected on a regular basis. And like
Yeah.
now that he's not, everyone's like, "Oh, Tiger was unbelievable. Tiger was unbelievable." They almost like feel sorry for him now, you know? And I mean, I think part of the reason why LeBron has so much hate still is because the guy's still getting it done. Like he might not have
Yeah.
gotten done in the playoffs, but he was averaging like 30 points a game at 39 years old. Like if you look at, and again, I'm not comparing LeBron to MJ right now. Like I mean, I'm not saying who's better. I'm just
Mhm.
saying that if you look at longevity wise, that man's career has been ridiculous.
And like I love. I was talking to my buddy who he works out similar like to you, has teaches people and stuff, and we were talking about how like just genes, man, is so important. Like I remember watching like I'm an Eagles fan, Deshaun Jackson. Like there was videos of him like when he was in eighth grade, like grinding and like you could tell in eighth grade that like this dude's going to the NFL. And
Yeah.
like I just think like think of how special LeBron hasn't been in any like fiasco or anything. I mean, the most trouble he's been in, quote unquote, is like him talking about political stuff, which is
Yeah.
totally fine.
Yeah.
Or Black Lives, like
Yeah.
racial issues, which is definitely he has a voice to do that,
Yeah.
and he should, given his platform. But like, yeah, LeBron. I mean, it's amazing. Like this high school kid is just like literally like lived the dream. Like I'm excited for the next phase of LeBron. Like we're gonna see like owner LeBron if they bring a team
Yeah.
to Vegas, and like what does Bronny do? What does his other son do? Like it's so interesting, man. Like again, I think we should give people flowers now than to wait until they're retired, but we shall see.
I agree with you. I so I mean, Topps is coming out with LeBron autos now after decades with,
Which I like and don't like, by the way.
and that's why I kind of wanted to. So like LeBron autos are fairly sought after because there aren't a ton of them in circulation, and because I
Yep.
mean Upper Deck really hasn't been using that IP. Now as we transition into a new phase of LeBron, undoubtedly he's going to be signing stuff. I mean, we see guys like Steph Curry where his autograph is everywhere.
Yeah.
Um, how does that impact LeBron cards moving forward, especially autographs?
I think you bring a good point with Steph Curry. Like I think like these like I get it. I would limit his auto to like 5 or 10 because I mean
Well,
double-edged
I mean,
sword.
as of right now, I think it's just like superfractors, right? Like, I don't think they're throwing him in as like a base autograph, right? Like,
Yeah, yeah. I hope not. But if anything, like just say like, the new product comes out, his auto sells for 10 grand, right? Then if in my mind, his first 3 year auto should go down a little bit if that's selling for 10 grand. Like while everyone's trying to buy the new thing, I would buy an auto of like his second year, like tops, whatever. Like
yeah, yeah,
because I mean, I don't know, it's interesting. I think it's gonna be cool. I mean, I kind of like to me, like when LeBron retires, he's not gonna go away like Jordan, but like I wish Brady did this, to be honest with you. And it's not I'm not a dig at Brady, but like I wanted Brady to go into the sunset and like just I didn't want to see him for like 2 years. And like
He's
he's
everywhere,
everywhere, man.
everywhere,
Yeah,
everywhere.
and like to me, like I want like his legacy to like marinate, like a fine seasoned steak,
He
like
screwed up by coming back for that 1 year
no,
because
not like that. I'm just saying
no, I
like
know, but like he kind of did though, right? Like, cause like he could
yeah,
have literally ended, like he could have retired and it would have been like won a Super Bowl his last season. He came
yeah,
back for that extra year. It was like kind of awkward because no one knew if he was coming back. He like
yeah,
unretired, like that whole situation was awkward. And then there's like now this was like this lull between his playing time and now he's going to be a broadcaster, and so like all this in between stuff
yeah.
where he's on every commercial. He was just on Netflix. Like the man is everywhere.
I know.
And again, like I mean, all the power to him, and whoever's backing him right now is, they know what they're doing, because this man, there's not a single person in North America does not see Brady at least once a week.
Yeah. But like to that like MJ point though, like when they just came out, I think Collect Media did an article on it about how like someone resurfaced or sorry, new surfaced cards of Jordan's rookie were signed by Jordan. Like
Yes.
to me, like that's like, oh my God, like I mean, we know he's alive, but like he signed his rookie. Like that's a big deal, man. Like and we should like play into that more. Whereas like when LeBron, like, dude, I don't think there's a Topps Chrome LeBron of him on card auto of him signing that card. Like to me, like whoever gets that is good. Like that's a monster card. Will that ever happen? Maybe, but like I just wish some players let like just detox a
I
little
know what
bit.
you're
Like
talking. I
do
know what you're
your
talking
thing.
about.
I'm not saying Brady's oversaturated, but like I don't know. I don't know. Just like do broadcasting and like I'll see you in like a year or two. Then you come back because people won't be like, hey, where's Brady? And then that brings it like the attention more to him. You know?
Yeah. I mean, it's hard to say which way is beneficial. Like from his perspective, I mean, I'm sure he's just absolutely killing it right now.
Oh
And like
yeah,
he's probably in the hole a little bit from some of that crypto bullshit. You
yeah.
know, like he's
Aren't we all?
like
I have some little crypto too, man. I'm trying to make a few bucks.
I know, but he was like at the forefront of like one of the biggest collapses in exchange. Like it's fucking-
That's true. That's true.
it was it was rough. I mean, like people went to jail, you know. So
Yeah,
like I'm
yeah.
sure he's out. He's out. I mean, a considerable amount. So he's been on a bit of a rampage. I don't know if that something has something to do with it. And also, I mean, we're just kind of in this age where it's like digital age where that in your face marketing is just like that's how people know you're relevant. You know, like earlier, before we jumped on this podcast, we talked a little bit about companies in the space we haven't seen active in a while,
Mm-hmm.
and you don't even really know what they're doing unless they're like in your face and posting and creating
Yeah,
and I think that he and his team have kind of seen that, and I understand that you want to go in the opposite direction, but maybe in terms of continuing to generate revenue, like that's probably
yeah,
the way to go.
100%.
Talk to me about WrestleMania, bro. That was like you said that you're a big wrestling fan. How is that attending an event like that as a
Yeah,
wrestling fan?
it was cool, man. I wanted to strike while the iron was hot with that. Obviously, are you a wrestling fan too before you
Yeah,
started?
a long time ago though,
Yeah.
like back in the 2000s.
So yeah, we I it's in Philly. I mean, I'm born and raised in Philly. I live in Jersey now. I'm like 10 minutes from Philly. But this is the was and is the greatest WrestleMania of all time. Wanted to take advantage of that. Our friends at Fanatics hooked us up with some media passes. I got it, I think my brother came with me the one day. My other Collects user came with me the other day. We filmed at their like Fan Fest WWE World. We didn't get any interviews with any wrestlers, but it was cool to be, like interview other collectors. Like we bought a bunch of like old packs. We just did it up, man. And then I went to WrestleMania Saturday and Sunday. I think I made like 16 TikToks in like 4 days. It was wild. Like
That's crazy.
I was just like, dude, like I just gotta like, and I had to post it then. Like I think I posted all 16 from like Thursday to like Tuesday afternoon because as you know, like attention span's short. Like we're filming this the week of the Bowman release. Like 2 weeks after Bowman, man, it's like a movie. Like it's in theaters for 40 days and then it's out of theaters.
That's it.
But yeah, WrestleMania is awesome. I wish the only thing that I wish with wrestling cards, and this is I'm just adding in my like hobby take
That's
here.
what we're here for.
I just wish that modern wrestling cards had a little bit more flair to them, resale wise. Like I'm not saying a gold, trying to think of a gold Rhea Ripley should be the same as a gold Prism Lamella Ball rookie, but like we should be seeing $1,000 plus PSA graded slabs of sales of modern wrestling cards or
Well,
even
we
raw
we,
cards
we
too.
saw like wasn't there like a Rock one of one that did like 18K like 2 years ago?
Yeah, but like even that, like there needs to be more of that, man. Like there, like the 1982 Wrestling All Star set is big. Like a PSA 9 of that Hogan card's a monster card, or like I don't know. I wish there was more value. I'm not knocking the modern sports cards. I just wish that like if you buy a $300 hobby box and you get a massive auto to 25, like that should pay for the box, and some of them don't.
I think the issue is that not everyone who likes wrestling cards. Like it's not like there was ever really like a wrestling card connection. Like
Yeah,
even growing up, that nostalgia that's there for baseball cards and basketball cards and football cards and hockey cards, it just wasn't really there. Like
yeah,
during people's not critiques of watching, but I mean, for the most part, that nostalgia, right? That we tap into, that kind of gets us
Mhm.
to turn off our logical brain and spend thousands of dollars on pieces of paper. Like
Yeah.
that's not really there. Whereas, like, I think, when it comes to the wrestling community, they would much rather like pay up for an experience to go like live or to be
Yeah.
there or to meet these people. Like, I will say that I've never seen longer autograph lines than I have for wrestlers.
Oh,
Like,
it's
it is
crazy.
bonkers, bro. Like,
Yeah.
we saw Bret Hart here, and it was
Was that at the Sports Card Expo?
yeah, it was
Yeah.
6 months ago, I think.
Yeah.
Maybe longer than that. But I've never seen, maybe for Mike Tyson I saw, and even I don't know if you classify that as wrestler, but like it was like I couldn't believe Ric
Yeah.
Flair too, actually. So like I cannot believe the lines for these wrestlers. So I understand that there might be frustration from the collecting, but like it almost needs to be built from the ground up versus like a
Mhm.
lot of these other segments already have like decades built into them, right? Where
You're
people have been like they can justify spending $300 on a baseball card, because I mean baseball cards have been $300 for I don't know, 20 years, 30
yeah.
years, 40 years.
The biggest thing that I've realized at going to these shows, so the TCG Collecticon World Sports Card Show and a wrestling crowd are three different audiences.
Yeah.
Listen, I'll be honest, like we go to a card show around here, the Brotherly Love Card Show is a great show around here. One of our team members, Alex Delco Rips, runs that, and other shows, even Philly show, right? We go to that. If I go up to someone, hey, can I interview you for TikTok? They're like,
No.
what are you doing?
Yeah.
You go to a Comic Con, or like, I mean, they're cool about it, but yeah, it takes some convincing. Like,
Yeah.
we're not, we're having fun here. We're making content. You go to a Collecticon or WrestleMania event, man. They're like, yo, bro, let's do it. Like,
And
they're
like
dressed up.
what do you want me to do? And
Yeah,
like
they're like, I'll do a backflip. Like, they're so into it, man. Like, I like, I could have literally stood still and be like, hey, you want to be on TikTok? And it would have had like 15 videos. Like, I had a dude who looked like Ric Flair interviewed him. Like, I guess listen, let's be real. At sports card shows, people are trying to sell $100 card, move on to the next one, sell for 200, which is
yeah.
great. I'm that person too. But like, there's just like at these, I wish some of the sports card shows had that hype and like personality and like nostalgia love that like the Comic Cons and wrestling crowds do. Like they like love it. They don't care what if they buy anything or not. They just want to be there and like cheer on their favorite wrestler or like take a picture of Bret Hart. Like it's two different worlds. But I'm hoping that the sports card world and national shows get a sprinkle of that where it's like there's like true collectors at these shows, man. It's really neat.
Yeah. And I think that perhaps that's what Fanatics is trying to do with the Fanatics Fest. I think it's going to be very interesting to see them roll out this brand new concept 3 times in 3 months. I thought
Yeah.
like them announcing that there's going to be basically one a month till the end of the year, starting in August, was also super interesting.
Yep.
Um, I mean, I don't think there's a way in hell I'm attending all three, but I'm definitely going to pick one, and
Definitely go
probably
to New York. It's the first one. You
probably
gotta
the
go to the
first
first
one.
one.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly, and then kind of see what happens from there. But yeah, it's gonna be interesting. I think my biggest qualm about the show is the fact that they're charging an entry fee for kids, and I mean it is, I don't know. What's your take on that?
Tell you what, if it's anything like what WWE World was in Philly for WrestleMania, it's gonna be pretty cool. Like there was a ton of there wasn't any cards at the WrestleMania World, WWE World, but like they probably could have had vendors like just wrestling cards like sold stuff. So like I think we'll have the perfect show like 2, 3 years from now because I think
Yes,
the next 12 months would be like, all right, like do we need, you know,
I don't
a
think there's
row
gonna be a
of
ton.
like
I don't think there's gonna be a ton of sports card vendors.
yeah, and like with that on the flip side, like would it be better if people just walk around and have like a giant like trade night? Like, dude, I don't know about you, but like I've made more money at trade night than actual walking up to someone's
Yeah,
table at a show.
yeah, definitely.
At the national, I was like itching to get the trade night because I know people like, you know, 12-year-olds had 16 grand. I'm making that up, obviously, but like, like there's more people like, yeah, I'll buy it, like I'll buy
Yeah,
that. Like
yeah,
whereas, like, you go to shows, they're maybe waiting because you're going to them at 1 p.m. and the show ends at 6, and they want to wait till the end of the day to maybe unload their cash because it's day 4 of 5. So
Yeah.
like it's interesting.
I mean, there's just so many different dynamics. Talk to me about where you think that the sports card industry market is heading. I mean, I know that we've seen a lot of innovation in terms of, I mean, pretty much everything.
Yeah,
You mentioned Bowman just released today, and they just started doing like the first Bowman autographs, literally like inscribing first Bowman
mhm,
on the first serially numbered card out of the or auto rather out of every player's true blue.
yeah,
Uh, I also started to see that they're inscribing the jersey number for the retrofractors, which I think is pretty cool. So like, I mean,
yeah.
you mentioned the Brady as well. Having the retrofractors in general is like a new concept that they just introduced during
Mhm.
last Bowman. You know, how do you think that they're going to start? And I say they as in everybody.
Everyone,
What's
yeah.
what's like the next innovation, do you think, stepping forward, let's say the next 12
Mhm.
months?
I think, and I'm pretty active. Actually, I'm going to ask you a question if you don't mind, because
Yeah,
this
go
goes
for it.
with that.
Yeah.
I think at one point 6 months ago, and this has to do with just talking about the hobby, like feedback is critical in the hobby, right? If
Mm-hmm.
you would have asked me a year ago or 2 years ago, Instagram is where the hobby's at. It's where everything is seen, consumed, whatever. In my mind, right now, we're filming this in May. Twitter is where it's at in the hobby. That's just my opinion. I know a few others think that. I think there's more dialogue going on Twitter. For me, like there's a lot of content creators on Instagram, which is great, but like there's more actual like conversation on Twitter
Yeah.
or X, whatever. I'm forever calling Twitter.
Me too. You and me both, man.
Um, but uh, but yeah, I mean, I think innovation. With being said, like I think we shouldn't the hobby as a whole, like don't like the common collector is very smart, and I think when you kind of like there's a lot of traditionalists in the hobby, and like you don't want to piss them off, but also you want to make them excited for a new thing. Like I'm not saying, like is the first Bowman of a Pete Rose card. To me, it's interesting. Technically, it's not his first Bowman, right?
Yeah.
But like to me, it's like you have 50% people think it's awesome, and then you have people like, oh, it's not his first Bowman. So it's like double-edged sword, whatever. I just keep doing cool stuff, man. Like there's again, like the hobby, let's be real, was the hobby cool, in 2017? I don't think so.
No, not really.
As is now. I mean, I
Yeah.
wasn't in the hobby in 2017 like I am now. And many others are saying, but I don't have the perfect answer, but like the debut patch card was killer cool.
Yeah.
All these shows are like, I think it's just so cool, man. I like, I mean, again, like we are collecting and trading and buying and selling grown men, women, and celebrities on a piece of paper. Like it's pretty wild. Like it's neat. Like I even we like I said, we just hired Tiger Allen, TA 24 cards, a great storyteller on in the hobby. And like I was like, dude, we get paid to work in trading cards. Like even Alex Delco Rips, we get to travel the world and collect cards and interview and hang out with people like you. Like it's like how cool is that?
I mean, I tell people all the time I live the dream, right? Like it's like a bit of a joke. Like like it's like the fact that if you were gonna ask me that this was possible, or like uh, if you were to tell me that this would be what I'm doing, 5 years ago, I'd be like, I what the hell are you talking about? Like
Do you get family members or like friends that know that you're in the hobby now? They'll be like, "Hey, I
all
have
the
this
time,
binder.
all
Can
the
you
time.
check it
I
out?"
actually I actually don't love that because because it's
Yeah, but what if there's
always
a
like junk wax, and
what if
it's
there's
like
like
so disheartening. Like I because it's just like man, there's just like it's happened to me, and like my mom will do this. She's super supportive, and like shout out to her.
sure,
But
shut up, mom.
exactly. But like people from work will be like, oh, like I saw your son's like on a video. Like, do you think he can look at my stuff? And so she'll like send me pictures, and I'll get like 11, 12 photos, like full screen.
Yeah,
And it's like all 90s stuff, man. Like all 90s.
yeah,
And
but
when I
what
say
if
and when I say 90s, okay, keep going. What if what?
no? Say what if Aunt Susan has a insert short print Jordan and it's like
Yeah.
3 grand, man.
Yeah. Yeah. And like I look through it. Like I'm not like, oh, screw this shit. But most of the time it's like, oh yeah, I have like a Mark McGuire rookie and I got a Barry
Yeah,
Bonds, and I'm like, oh
throw
man.
it.
I'm like, this is fuck.
Yeah, Yeah, I get that sometimes too. Hey, like I'll look at your stuff, but again, sorry, I feel like I'm interviewing you now. I
No,
like
no, we're
just
having fun. We're having fun with what we're doing.
um,
Let's go.
but like I feel like it's cool to like I don't know like research. Like for me, like my one buddy sent me. I was like, "Yo, send me
Thank
your
you.
binder. Like just go through your binder. I will literally tell you in 3 seconds because I can literally see a card, know the design, and know if it's a banger card or not.
Yeah.
Are you the same way?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And I also I'm like I'm like petty. I'm like, if you're not gonna put in the work, then don't hit me up.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like come
Or
to
list
me.
it and sell it on the Collects Marketplace.
You could do that.
Wink,
I
wink.
mean, there you go. There's a plug right there. I should just be sending them straight to collects. Be like, hey, listen, download this app.
Or
You
or
can
Card Dealer
scan
Pro too.
every single card, and you'll know exactly how much things are worth.
Yeah.
And stop bothering me. That's funny. What's I mean, have you found something crazy in like a collection like that?
Um, Not really, but like I like know what I now know what I want to collect. So
What is
like
that?
I now know like what will make money and like I have a few Topps Chrome LeBron rookie PSA nines and like they're like I don't know anywhere from a $900 $1,200 card and to me like I think that's going to go up when he retires or 10 years from now if I hold it. But there's so many of them on the flip side though, so I could like sell them and just get the money back. But um, yeah, I mean, I've had a few success stories of like just buying on early on collects. Buying actually when I bought a PSA 9 or sorry PSA or raw LeBron Topps Chrome, and it came back at PSA 9, and that was a great kind of like success story of that.
Wow.
Um, but yeah, I think if anything, it's just learning, man. Like I know, like again, 2 years ago when I was buying, I was like, what the hell am I buying? Like what? Even now, like I bought into a few Bowman breaks to go Aiden Miller hunting for
Yeah.
the Phillies new prospect 2024. That
Yeah.
might look really dumb or really cool. Like I don't know. Like I'm willing to take the risk. Scared money don't make money. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm not saying I have. You know, I'm not driving. Whatever car.
Yeah.
Um, but I'm doing well with it and want to level up like everyone else. I too want to one day walk up to someone's table and be like, yo, I'm gonna buy your whole table. Like,
Yeah.
why
Yeah.
not?
It's pretty wild. Yeah, man, I'm excited. It's we're in a cool space. I think that we continue to see improvements every single day, and like I said, there's like the innovation in the space is like none other because I think it's almost like everyone was stuck in molasses for 20 years
Yeah,
and like and I think that's part of why there's some tension points in the hobby too because things were the way that they were for so long.
yeah,
Um, I'm also of like the faction that like you can't have all of the price increases. Like if you were collecting like 20 years ago and like hardcore collecting and you've reaped the benefits of everything that's happened in the last few years, you can't get
mhm,
upset with change because like your card
yeah,
used to be 1/50th of the value that it is today. And
yeah,
now because of all these changes, all these new people, all these new companies, all this injection of like resources and I mean, that's why your card is like now expensive. That's why you're sitting on, a $60,000 card versus, having a card that you bought for 300-400 bucks or even $1,000, right? So, I just find it interesting that a lot of the times that like, those people that are those hardcore hobbyists that have been here for so long,
yeah,
and I'm like, they took that card that you loved, which is great, but they not then made it something that like now it's the equivalent of a car. Like you literally
yeah.
own a piece of paper that is the same price of a car. Like that was not like that before. So
But on top of that though, like I give it again, talk about giving people flowers. Like I give much respect to like, um, you know, I guess I named some influencers like Car Collector 2, like Mojo, guys like that, like Tyler Santiago, like all these other guys that they were doing it like 10, 15 years ago,
for
man, like
sure.
when they were
Yeah.
kids. And like
Yeah.
I respect the hell out of that, man. Like because like they were in it. Like imagine like I mean shit. Imagine 2003, you're who's this LeBron guy and you start collecting his rookie cards and you have 200 of his cards, man. Like you got a lot of money right now if you did it right. And like I just respect all those people that like are OG guys. Like even the 67-year-old dude who's been at Nashville
100%.
for 20 years, who's
Yeah.
been just grinding away, and he's I mean, there's so many success stories that I think we haven't even like hit the surface of what are out there. Like there's like, I mean, a few months ago there was a Mickey Mantle on a Velveeta cheese box. Remember that? You remember that story? Like
Yeah.
someone's attic. Like there's probably like 20 more Velveeta cheese boxes somewhere that has someone's
Yeah.
attic or
I
like
mean,
Aunt
there
Susie.
was another story that there was someone found a Mickey Mantle in like a drawer of a house that they sold.
Yeah,
And I'm
like
like, bro, like that's
I
craziness.
I
Like,
always say this to my wife, like if we drive around on a Saturday or Sunday and there's a yard sale, I was like, I'm just praying one day I just walk up to a yard sale and like I just see like a 1985 Fleer like hobby box and someone just wants to like get rid of it. And I'm just like,
what do
uh,
you
what do you want
I
for
got a
it?
question for you actually. Yeah, yeah. Okay. So like you just ask them how much like it's just so interesting, right? Like it's like if you see a deal of a lifetime, like why and they want like $50 for it, like do you take the deal? Do you tell them what it is?
I mean, I think you have to an extent, yes, but like, I don't know. Yes and no. I mean, it depends. Like, I mean,
I
if
don't know. I don't
if
know
it's a
the
Mickey
answer.
Mantle, like honestly, there was there's a collector once I saw. She had a Mickey signed Mickey Mantle card, and I wasn't sure if it was real or not. I was like, I'll help you just try to find that it's real because I don't
Yeah.
want you to sell it to someone. I probably can't afford it. But I'll help you like verify and get it graded so you can you know, um,
Like
like
get true value for it.
yeah, get true value
Yeah.
for it and not
Yeah.
sell to someone for like, oh, here's $100.
Yeah.
Because there's people out there. Let's be real. There's some scummy people
Of
out there
course
that
there are. Yeah, yeah.
want to take advantage. But yeah, I mean, like, can you imagine having that? Like, hey, my dad's dad owned a card store in 1940, and we still have his stuff. Like,
You're just going through like a
amazing.
garage sale. You're like, what is going on here?
Yeah,
I think I think honestly, like I mean, I don't have the bankroll for that shit. So I'd be like, listen, like we're gonna get you in touch with like PSA or something, you know? Like
yeah. Well, actually, we
I
had
can't facilitate this shit. Like let's like let's get someone who can.
here's a cool success story. A reporter, a local reporter, a newspaper reporter, did a story on us for On Collects, like when we first launched, and he went to the national in AC, and he got in the hobby real early. He had a SGC um, Brady Chrome rookie, and
Ooh,
like and it was like in the old label, and he tried to get over PSA.
yeah,
They wanted 10 grand for him to cross it over because it was going to be like a 9 or a 10. And I'm like, I told him, I was like, dude, I get it, but like, you got a Brady, man. You have a big card. I forget it was a 10 or not, but like they were gonna cross it over. And like he told me, he's like, dude, I bought this his rookie year thinking that didn't know he's gonna become the greatest of all time.
that's crazy. Unbelievable. And there's so many
Yeah,
great stories like that in the market, man, and in the hobby. And I just
yeah,
it's an amazing space, man. Brother, I want to thank you so much for jumping on today. I want to give you the floor to plug whatever it is that you guys are working on, where they
yeah.
can follow you and your team, and yeah, man, just run with it.
Yeah, so yeah, thanks for having me on. This is cool, man. Love your content and all the stuff you do for the hobby as well. Yeah, man, just follow Collects, Collects app on all our social media channels. We're making some noise in the hobby. Like I said, I'll be a homer saying that obviously I work for the company, but we're one of the best apps on the market. Our numbers tell us that, and our community tells us that too. And we're just leveling up, man. Like I'm excited to see what Collects is a year from now, 6 months from now, next week. We're listening to our community. Our community is listening to us, and it's been fun, man. Like it's been the most exciting I've had in my career. I was a former TV reporter for this, and it's cool to kind of never thought I would get another industry outside of TV and love it. And they say you love what you do every day, and I love what I do every day. And again, I work in sports cards, and look all that stuff behind me. Like it's pretty cool. But yeah, follow Collects and go to a show, buy a card, and just give the hobby a try, man. Like there's no don't spend thousands of dollars on right away, but like live and learn and just like ask questions and have some fun.
I love that. Team, I hope you enjoyed this week's episode of the Cardboard Coach featuring David Grzybowski from Collects. You heard the man. Download the app, check it out. At the very least, consume some of their content, and I mean, there's tons of value there. So, hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Coach Co and David are out of here. Peace.